So you can see my nape there, bad heat damage. But I decided not to cut it all off because I have kind of carved a shape into my hair when it's curly, and so even though I'm twisting here, twisting the pieces, trying to encourage at least the root to curl, and if not, the ends to just wave a little, it gets camouflaged with the rest of my hair. My hair, when it's down when I'm doing this, you can't see the nape, and you really can't tell that I have these straight pieces. Not too badly, at least. I can live with it. And if I decide to pull it up, well, then I usually use a bobby pin to keep it up, and then it's pulled back. So I mean, it just looks like it's all slicked back anyway, or slicked up. So I'm taking sections that are probably about an inch wide or an inch thick and a quarter of my head wide to do this. I'm using that fabulous brush. It does make such a big difference. Because trying to use a wider brush like the Tangle Teezer, you're gonna catch hairs that you don't want to catch outside of the section in it. And this lets me get closer to the scalp so I can have better definition all the way through. I hate having like puffy roots and defined ends. I think it's so annoying. So this section here, you can see I am having more success with it curling. I have less heat damage. And you can really start to see what your curl pattern is like when you define it doing this. Even with the heat damage, I think, the parts that are curling are still so cute, and I really like it. Let's see, there's another section. As I go up, as I get more into the body of my hair, I have less heat damage because the rest of it was protected for about 3 months under wigs last winter. Now, what else can I say about this brush though? It's not expensive. It is fairly easy to find. It smooths your hair out really well, especially if you have different lengths. It kind of makes them all align. It works definitely better than just using your fingers for me. And I'm doing this all with just that leave-in conditioner. I haven't put any other product in it besides what the reconstructing spray by Alpha G I used before, and the oils. This is just leave-in conditioner now, and it has a really great slip. I have to apologize. I didn't check to see if it has cones in it. So if it does, and your hair does not like that, then go ahead and use something else. But I really like it. And the only complaints I'd have is that I ran out pretty quickly. It only lasted me about 2 weeks using it the way that I use it. And I wish it was in a squeeze bottle instead of a tub, because the edges of the tub kind of scrape your hand sometimes if you're not careful and you're not looking. And I don't usually look when I'm grabbing product. So I'm just showing you this section here, and I'm not going to show you my whole head. I show you different sections so you can see what the different parts of my hair are like, and so you can see how I work with them. And this would work. What I'm doing here is I'm just feeling with my fingers where the hair wants to separate, where it clumps up. I'm not creating these clumps. I'm just feeling the clumps, and then I'm defining those clumps. It's kind of like when an artist says, oh, the sculpture's already in the stone. I'm just feeling for it and pulling it out and twisting it, twirling it. So the next part, you see, I have on the other side, and I'm going to a different area, and there you go. So I'm on to the next section. Now this part of my hair, which is I would consider like the middle, I do not have a lot of issues out of this hair. It's, it's not too rough. It has pretty consistent curl pattern all the way through. It never really gets damaged that badly. It's not too dense either. I'm just going off and dividing it into sections again, same amount of sections as before. And I'll show you, so you can see like this part of my hair is a lot longer because I did layer it when it was straight, and I didn't really have a problem with the layers wearing it curly. I did it myself too, so I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, I've had to maybe do little touch-ups or trims here and there just because my hair is not all growing at the same rate all over my head, but nothing too bad. So I was talking before about different types of hair, or I guess different types of hair this technique would be good for. And I was saying it doesn't really matter if you have fine, medium, or coarse hair to do this technique. And honestly, as far as thickness is concerned, I would say the thicker your hair is, the more it will respond to this. It will really, it will respond to this technique no matter what, but people who have really thick hair and it's densely packed are going to appreciate this very much more than maybe if you don't have very densely packed hair on your head. If your hair is more sparse, this may end up making it too defined where you can start to see scalp. And you can see I really don't have that problem. I have to fight to have a part that you can clearly see, and I pretty much give up on having clearly defined parts in my hair. So maybe if your hair is less densely packed, you may not want to do quite as small sections, or you might want to try a different technique. But the reason I'm doing this is so that I'm setting myself up for the whole week. So I don't have to worry about having frizzy parts in my hair. I don't have to worry about having to do this every day. But I still retain moisture, and you can still see my curl definition, and it stays soft, and it stays bouncy, and it has movement, and it doesn't frizz too badly. And especially at night, all I have to do is sleep on a satin pillowcase. And where it's getting warm, I don't have to worry about sweating because I'm wearing a bonnet or a satin scarf. That's a big plus, especially since my hair is not quite long enough to pineapple properly, or pineapple very well. So I like doing this. And also, when you have fine hair, even if you have a lot of it like me, when you have fine hair, you can find that your curls get weighed down a lot faster as they start growing long. I mean, even at this length here, my roots want to straighten out more than the ends do, and it can be really annoying because you struggle with definition. So you're not really concerned about lengthening the curl as you are just making sure it still has shape. Now I'm on the top of my head here, and I'm showing you, I had already sectioned off my hair here, and I'm on the last section of, I'm on the last part to define for this quarter of my head. And what you can see is that my hair is like really loose curls. It's always been this way. That's just the way it grows on the top of my head. It almost goes into wavy territory, but it's not quite. So I still consider it like 3A or maybe 3B, but I can coax it into curling up. I still have problems with the roots just wanting to puff because they're straightening out, and especially the crown. It's like this coarse texture that I'm not really used to, and it's only there, and it doesn't get more pronounced with protein treatments. It's not that. It's just always been that way. It's a problem area for me simply because I have to make it work with the rest of my hair that's not like this. My mother has the same exact type of distribution of curls on her head too, so I do believe it's genetic. But using this technique allows my hair to do something and not just be wavy, puffy, undefined. I used to think it was type 4 hair, but just the curl pattern is not tight enough for that, and it really does not want to clump together unless you make it. So I'm still using the leave-in conditioner that I've been using this whole time, and it's doing a pretty good job. And you can see there that I actually was able to get it to curl. As I use more products, as we go on, it gets better. So now I'm doing the front, and the front is like really difficult for me right now because, like I said, I had heat damage, and I ended up having to actually go ahead and cut into it just so it wouldn't look so awful. And at the length it is right now, I am able to get it to blend, and closer to my ears it's shorter than at the top of my head, so I don't really have a problem with the way it lays down, and the top layer kind of lays over top of the bottom layer, and it doesn't stick out. I know it sounds really awful. I did it myself. If you're a hairstylist, I'm sure you would agree I probably murdered my hairstyle, but it does work for me. I'm able to look presentable. I'm just using my rake comb to get it through, but I have the most problems currently with trying to get the hair in these two front sections to curl like the rest, simply because in the front of my head and on the top, so I mean that's like largely this section here, and the other section on the other side, it's looser curl. So doing this technique helps it to curl up more and to scrunch up more. I had such a hard time in the stores, like trying to find a product that would make my curls tighter for these parts of my hair. Like everything out there now is for making your curls looser, and I can totally understand that. I get that, and I've actually tried curl loosening products like at the nape of my neck where the curls are tighter, and so I was like, well, if I make the curls on top tighter and I make the curls at the bottom looser, then everything will look closer to the middle of my head, which wasn't like perfect, but it's really hard to find products that will make your hair tighter. So what I've had to do is just do lots of conditioning and lots of protein. I use the Apogee Hard Protein treatment once every 3 weeks, and I use like a mid-grade protein mask, the ORS, I think it's hair cholesterol, every 3 weeks as well, and I like on a different week than the Apogee Hard Protein. And then I use I think Emotions oil conditioner, deep conditioner, that a lot of people use after they get relaxers, and that's like a really light protein. Every 3 weeks as well, on a different week than both the Apogee and the ORS. But that's been really helping a lot. Like I said, my hair responds really well to protein, so I'm not too worried. I'm confident that in time I will have curls everywhere again. I have found that too, just with regular styling and having my hair out and having my ends out, my ends do kind of start to get weak after a while, and they also don't want to curl up as much, or the curl gets looser towards the end. So I have like roots that want to straighten out because of the length of the hair and it being fine, so it's not very strong, and then the ends getting worn out just from manipulation and being out and being slept on and just touching them. So yeah, I'm pretty much addicted to protein currently. So this section here is not so bad. I have some big curls going on, but they're curling, and look, they cover right over the heat damage for the most part. So I can walk out of the house feeling pretty confident.